Let's do roses. There we go. Okay. Let's talk about GLPs and mental health. Did you know the same GLP medication that help regulate blood sugar and appetite control also affects your brain and your mental health? Holly, I used Manjaro 15 to lose most of my weight. I've been on these medications since August of 2022. And for me personally, I feel it's helped with my anxiety. It's helped. Okay, Kaylee. It's helped with my depression. But I think some of that is because this person had no confidence. This person felt stuck, felt sick, and did not feel okay by any means. This person feels okay. This person feels confident. And that's where some of my depression and anxiety came from. Holly, that's excellent. It did me too, and my cholesterol. My cholesterol went from 300 to 132, which is amazing. GLP receptors aren't just in the gut. They're finding GLP receptors in the brain. They're finding them in the heart, in the pancreas, in the gallbladder, in the ovaries, in the bladder, everywhere in our bodies. Yes, Holly, I am. So the portion of the brain that they're finding them in are the regions that are tied to mood, stress, and memory. So GLP, in simple terms, reduce inflammation, which is also linked to depression and anxiety, improve neurotransmitter function, which means better communication between brain cells, and they support neuroprotection, which may actually help prevent brain aging and diseases like Alzheimer's. Some studies show that Alzheimer's is actually diabetes type 3. Have you heard that? That it's linked to the lack of sugars in your brain. So they're calling it diabetes type 3. So if we take care of our sugars and get out of the brain, get the brain right, we can avoid Alzheimer's. So while you've been on Manjaro, have you noticed clearer thinking, more energy, changes in mood? You want to be in maintenance now. I've stayed on the 15 for maintenance because that's where my sugars are happy. I'm a diabetic type 2. And that's where my sugars are happy. So I have to control my blood sugars and my weight from here with my eating. If my weight goes down too much, I have to eat more. If my weight goes up too much, I have to eat less. So, mood, depression, and anxiety. Many patients report better mood and less anxiety and depression on GLPs. Isn't that great? And that comes right from the studies, right from the statistics. Clinical studies are now testing GLPs as add-on therapies for depression and BED. Does everyone know what that is? BINGE, eating. It's hard to say that word on here. But the initials for it that people use are BED. Thank you. Tammy wrote the third word in that. It's BINGE, eating, and then that word. So there are individual variations, though. You can never say everyone gets better mood and less depression and anxiety, because that's not the case. Not everyone gets better mood and increased or decreased depression and anxiety. Some may feel more anxiety or pressure around their food choices. The medication is different for everybody. And if you used the medication as your coping skill, or if you used food as your coping skill, and we're now taking the coping skill away with this medication, you've got to find a new coping skill. That's hard for some people. How do you find a new coping skill? So something triggers you and you have no coping skill. What's that going to do? It's going to increase anxiety, increase depression, because you have no way to handle them. So real life. Indirect side effects. Weight loss often boosts self-confidence. Like I was saying, this girl was not happy. She was not confident. She did not feel okay. This girl feels confident. She feels okay. She feels happy. Something right on my nose. Your mobility increases and you have less frustration in public places. You know, when you're trying to get in, I'll give you the example of yesterday. Got my uncle to the AmVets and someone has stolen my uncle's wheelchair. It's too big to go through my uncle's front door and it doesn't fold enough to go through the door. It's an oversized wheelchair. So it sits on his porch. It's a covered porch. And we use it when we're going places. It does fold enough to sit sideways in the back of my car or the back of Dawn's car. So we leave it on the porch. Someone stole his wheelchair. How low is that? Anyway, hi Chrissy. I take him to the AmVets yesterday for this celebration of life, trying to get him out of the car. He's trying to use 2 canes to walk far enough to get into the hall where they're having the celebration of life. And everybody's making a big deal about it, you know. Oh, help Bill. Help Uncle Billy. Get him in here. Hold that door. We got to get Uncle Billy in here. And everybody meant well. Everybody meant well. I'm not complaining. They meant well. On the way home, Uncle Billy cried. And he's a tough man. He said, you know how embarrassing that was? That everybody had to make a big deal about me getting in there and getting out of there. He's like, I just wanted to get in there quietly, sit in the closest chair, and get out of there quietly. I didn't want all that hula. Hula, he said. And I was like, hoopla. It's hoopla. But he said hula. And I was like, oh, Bill, it's fine. It's fine. People were trying to help because they care. And he said, well, I don't need that much caring. I don't want people to know that I've done this to myself. And I felt so bad for him. So when mobility improves, there's less frustration. And that would be an example of less frustration. Your sleep improves. So you're in a better mood and you're more brain focused. When you get more sleep, it is proven that your brain is sharper. And you contrast that with changes like body dysmorphia. When you don't see the changes, even when others do, your depression stays there. I know, I'm trying to get him a chair again. I can't afford it right now, Holly. I'm saving up. I'm trying to get him a chair. You know, I can't get him a $150 chair. The cheapest chair for the oversized chairs are $500 or so, and I'm trying. Your shot day, you can't sleep at all. Yeah. What's been your biggest mental win so far, do you think? Has it been confidence or less stress? Oh, to sit down. I don't know if those would hold 500 pounds. Yours is confidence, Stanley. Definitely confidence, Jeanette. Confidence, Chrissy. Mine is confidence, too. Confidence and feeling better, Holly. Yeah. Absolutely, Holly. So, cognitive health and the future. Yeah. A little overconfident, yeah. Explain how GLPs are being studied in Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. There's lots of studies going on right now for both Parkinson's and Alzheimer's to try to solve those, or at least push them off to a later date. Some GLPs may slow cognitive decline by improving insulin signaling in the brain. You know, if there's a medication that not only protects your body, your heart attack risk, your stroke risk, everything that the GLP does, and the same medication can improve your cognitive decline, wouldn't you take it? That's like a no-brainer. You were diagnosed with Parkinson's, and since you've been taking the medication, you're not tremoring as much. Yeah. So coping with the mental changes when you're on GLPs can be challenging sometimes. You need to normalize your feelings. You need to know that it's okay if your mental health does not improve. Just because everyone else has improved, it's okay if yours does not. You can still vocalize that yours did not. And that's okay. The tremors are almost completely gone. Yeah. You know, that's one thing that a lot of people have a hard time saying. I'm not okay. When everybody else around you is perfect and they're okay, it's hard to say, I'm not okay. So when everybody in the room is saying, my mental health is better, my mental health is better, my anxiety's gone, my depression's gone, and it gets to your turn, it's hard to say, my depression's worse. When everybody else is so peppy and saying that theirs is better. So we need to normalize that it's okay to say, I am not okay. Do not shame anybody for ever saying, I am not okay. And you take them very seriously if they say that. Don't giggle it away. Don't shoo it away. You take it seriously. You sit down and you listen. Sometimes all they need is an ear. And if they need more, you help them find more. Track your non-scale victories if you're not okay. Practice mindful eating to reduce anxiety around food. And what that means is you're looking at your food and you know what each thing is. So you know that the 2 ounces of chicken is going to be 20 grams of protein. I love that song, Eileen. I absolutely love that song. I about cry every time it comes on. Consider therapy or support groups if body image struggles arrive. And lean on a community like this room to process changes, to talk about things. GLPs affect both body and brain. Your mental health matters just as much as your physical health. And GLPs might be a bridge for both body and mind. Does anyone have any questions? That is the end of that. Quick and easy, to the point. Hi, Lena. I didn't see you come in, but I saw you coming a couple times. So mental health is it's one of those things that's really hard. When a friend is going through something, it's hard to know what to say. And sometimes you don't say anything. They're not there to have you fix it. They're there to have you listen. You know, just listen. Sit down and listen. And sometimes that's all it takes.